All right, so if you're running a small brewery, you totally know this feeling. You pour everything into making great beer, you ship it off to a distributor, and then it's just crickets. You're left wondering what's happening. Well, today, we're going to crack open that black box. We're going to demystify your wholesale business with one simple but seriously powerful metric.
So, here's how we're going to do it. First, we'll talk about that all-too-familiar problem, the wholesale guessing game. Then, we're going to define the solution, this thing called sales velocity, and show you how to turn that data into way smarter decisions. I'll even show you a practical tool to get started right away. And finally, we'll see how all of this elevates you into a real strategic partner for your distributors. Let's get into it.
Okay, first up, the guessing game. You've done all the hard work. You've brewed an amazing batch, it's all packaged up, and the truck pulls away. And then, what? You wait. For so many breweries, this is exactly where the visibility just stops.
I mean, really, does it feel like you're just launching your beer into a void, just kind of hoping you get a call for a reorder? You are not alone in this, I promise. It is such a common frustration, not knowing how fast your beer is actually moving. And that uncertainty, it makes everything harder. Planning, forecasting, even just having a productive conversation with your distributor.
But what if I told you there's a way to flip on the lights inside that black box? Well, there is, and it all comes down to one simple metric: sales velocity. This might just be the single most important number you can track to get a real handle on your wholesale business.
So what is it really? When you boil it all down, sales velocity is just the speed of your sell-through. It's not about how much beer you sold in total, it's about how fast it's moving. We measure it in barrels per week for a specific beer at a specific account. A high number? That means it's flying. A low number? Yeah, that means it's probably gathering a little bit of dust.
And the best part? The math could not be easier. You just take the total barrels you shipped out and you divide it by the number of weeks that have gone by since you shipped it. That's it. That one number gives you this crystal clear snapshot of how that beer is performing right now.
Let's make this super concrete. Imagine you shipped 30 barrels of your flagship IPA back on April 1st. And let's say today is May 13th. That's about 42 days, which is exactly 6 weeks. So you take those 30 barrels, divide by 6 weeks, and boom, you get a sales velocity of 5 barrels per week. It's that simple. You now have a hard number, a real benchmark for that IPA at that account.
Now here's a really important little detail. When that account places a follow-up order, it basically locks in that velocity number. It's your confirmation that the first batch sold through. But what if that reorder doesn't come? Well, the weeks keep ticking by, and your velocity number starts to slowly drop, week after week. That falling number is your early warning signal that something's slowing down.
Okay, so we have this number. So what? What do we do with it? Well, this is where the magic happens. The real power comes when you start tracking it consistently. This is when that simple piece of data turns into an absolute game changer for your whole brewery. Think about it. When you track this stuff over time, you start building this incredible library of data. All of a sudden, you can set realistic goals for a new beer launch. You can forecast your inventory needs with actual data, not just a gut feeling. You can see, clear as day, which of your flagships are picking up steam and which ones might be losing it. And, maybe most importantly, it tells you exactly where to focus your attention.
I love this analogy. Think of your sales velocity number as the check engine light on your car's dashboard. It's not going to tell you exactly what's wrong, right? It won't say, you need a new spark plug, but it gives you a super clear, impossible to ignore signal that, hey, it's time to pop the hood and take a look. Is it a pricing issue? Bad placement in the store? Maybe it's just the wrong beer for that particular bar. The velocity number is what tells you it's time to start asking those questions.
And listen, there is a real cost to ignoring that check engine light. Beer that's just sitting there isn't just taking up precious warehouse space, it's actively costing you money in storage fees and lost margin. Even a small delay, say 4 extra weeks on the shelf, can cost you over $200 on a single shipment. Now multiply that across your entire operation. Yeah, it adds up fast.
Okay, I get it. This all sounds great in theory, but who has the time to build and manage a bunch of complicated spreadsheets? Well, the good news is you don't have to. There's a fantastic, super simple tool built by a fellow brewery pro that does all the heavy lifting for you.
This tool, the Sales Velocity Tracker, comes in 2 flavors. There's a totally free sample version that handles all the core stuff we just talked about. It tracks your barrels, it calculates the velocity, and it has that key lock-in logic for reorders.
Then there's a full version that adds some seriously powerful features, like automatic color coding to highlight your best and worst performers, plus charts and pivot tables so you can really dig into the analysis.
And using it is seriously dead simple. It's designed so you only ever have to type into the blue fields. You know, the account name, the beer, the shipment date. Everything in black is a formula that just works automatically. When a reorder comes in, you pop in the follow-up date, and then you can just flip over to the other tabs to see all your performance data at a glance. The whole point is to save you time and give you clarity.
All right, let's bring this all home to what might be the biggest payoff of all. This is about how this one single metric can completely transform the relationship you have with your distributors. This is how you stop being just another supplier and start being an indispensable partner.
The key is to start setting some internal benchmarks or thresholds for your beers. You might decide your flagship IPA is healthy as long as it's moving at 5 barrels a week or more, but if it drops below that, it's time to investigate. Maybe a seasonal is doing just fine at 2 to 3 barrels a week. The important thing here is that these aren't rules for your distributor, they are your internal triggers to start a conversation.
And that is the big transformation, because now, when you see a beer dip below its threshold, you're not just calling your distributor asking for another order, you're calling them with data. You can actually say, hey, I noticed our IPA velocity at this account has dropped from 5 down to 3.5 barrels a week. What are you seeing on your end? Can we figure out a solution together? You become a proactive, data-driven problem solver. So, you see, by tracking this one simple number, you completely change the game. You get control over your inventory, your forecasting, and your growth. You stop just reacting to things, and you start leading the conversation with actual data. The information was always there. Now you have the tool to finally use it. So the only question left is, are you ready to stop guessing and start leading?